farm dinner theater uses a model that was developed in World War II. So it uses a script that depicts real-life situations, but in a humorous way. The primary goal is to encourage behavior change on farms. We know that farming is among the most dangerous occupations in both our state and in our nation. We can provide people with awareness and resources that they can use on their day-to-day operation to reduce their risk. This is probably one of the simplest things that I have ever done or asked people to be involved in. There's very little in the way of props that is required for this. So a table and some chairs, nothing very fancy.
What also makes it work is those prepared scripts by Dr. Deborah Reed from University of Kentucky.
And once that script is developed, then there is a group of individuals from the community who serve as the readers.
What's up, Bruce? Trying to find a good place to go duck hunting?
I'm not a theater person. I don't have any background in theater. I was able to execute it because of the resources that are available right here around me.
Hey guys, scoot over. The girls have arrived to make sure you guys behave.
Yeah, it's never too good to let you guys stay on for too long.
Brad Jarvis contacted me and basically asked if I would be willing to help with some farm safety, dinner theater production. Just a different avenue to try to reach out to folks in a different way, different format than what we were used to.
For the most part, it's a conversation taking place in a natural setting. You know, when we think of storytelling within the culture of agriculture, you know, a lot of times that takes place at the country store or at the local breakfast place or over the family dinner table and things like that. So those are generally the settings. You know, it'll start up like a regular conversation.
When I finished college, I just decided to go full bore on my own. I had a lot of support from my family, but I like making my own decisions.
Yeah, but you paid a price for that too. You got your high blood pressure and all. You know, farmers sure can't take a toll on our health.
I guess it does.
When you go through all those things, and there's a central topic.
We thought we might plan a getaway. You'd think that in the winter, farm work would slow down, but this weather just puts us behind.
Ain't that the truth?
And so you get to the meat and potatoes of that topic pretty quick. You share multiple perspectives about that topic.
I see the vacation as an investment. I need to get totally away from Pitt County for at least a week. It takes me a day or two before I really start to feel the effects.
But you still have that phone, always on that thing.
That's true, but over the years I've gotten a lot better about that.
The subject matter on farm safety started changing into something more than just tractor overturns and incidents in the shop or in the barnyard. It turned into farm stress. It was more emotional. I'm friends with lots of our farmers. We can have friendly conversations. You know, I'm not a therapist. I didn't feel comfortable dealing with farm stress issues head on. So that's why I selected theater as a way to express some of that in a non-threatening way.
Farmers don't want to admit those weaknesses, and they're very independent and don't want people to think that they can't handle themselves regardless. And so that one's a very popular theme to get people to break the ice and to talk about things.
I just know it was really important to have this discussion in front of folks and give them the opportunity to start thinking about how important farm safety is and mental health is in a different aspect that isn't necessarily on the farm directly.
Especially with COVID affecting farmers this year, we wanted to make sure that we talked about a mental health episode as well so that we can let them know that we have resources here.
But we've also talked about tractor safety, child safety, and general machinery safety. I'd like to do one on livestock safety, and that will probably come at some point.
It's highly adaptable to really whatever audience you want to work with. It just depends on the story you want to tell.
I was actually kind of excited when we were supposed to be out of school for 2 weeks, but that 2 weeks turned into over a year, and I'm not excited about being out of school anymore.
I know, it gets kind of lonely being at home all day.
I don't think we would have virtual farm theater if it wasn't for the pandemic.
But guys, feeling lonely or stressed, that's not a new problem, and it's not going to fade away as we get a better handle on COVID-19.
The videos that we were then able to take and put on YouTube, you know, when a person plays that, it still looks like they're in a real Zoom meeting. It's not like they're just watching someone recorded on a video. It's like they're part of it because of the way we were able to modify the screen and all that to look like the meeting. So I think it you know, allowed us to expand the tool and to adapt it a little bit so that it has an even broader audience now.
The people in the community want to talk about it more than you think they want to talk about it. And they want to have that safe space to explore these topics. And it's a really hard conversation to start just out of the blue. And so I love that we have these because it doesn't make it takes that pressure off of I've got to find somebody versus they're already talking about it and now we can start talking about it. So I think that's what I've learned is that people really do want to talk about it and they want to find relief for what's going on in their life and to feel like there's hope and that something can be done.
Probably the biggest benefit is the fact that the people that are in attendance know the people that are doing the acting and probably pay more attention than they would if it were brought in from a crew from somewhere else to do it.
So I think that really helps them to open up and understand the importance of the topics.
People liked the process. They liked how the information was delivered. They enjoyed the discussion that brought out topics that were important to them. And you know, 80% of them said they would take this information and use it on their farms.
No matter who is up there doing it, the rest of the group there is going to immediately start connecting and in their mind and thinking of things happen just to them, or just like that, or something similar.
This really does work in front of groups because they're opening up more than I think they would if we just said, hey, who wants to talk about farm stress? And people would just sit there, I'm sure. So this breaks the ice and is a good way to start the interaction.
When I think about some of the things I did as a kid growing up on the farm, well, let's just say I'm lucky to grow up.
I've heard some of those stories and I've got plenty of those myself.
And I'm sure that through the comic part of it, you probably get to people more than you would if it was a dead serious presentation.
I had no idea chickens could be so fast. It's a lot easier to rope a steer.
Because people have a tendency to pay attention when they laugh, and it's probably easier to get a point across that way.
The discussion and the results from that theater, I think, were one of the best things that I've ever done. So don't be afraid, follow the steps, and if you have questions, reach out to us, and we're always here to lend technical assistance.